Danielle Shay Gum is the Director of Options and Trader Specialist at Simpler Trading. She is a strict technical analyst with a strong emphasis in Fibonacci analysis. Her primary focus is on trend following, directional strategies via options trading, though she covers stocks and ETFs as well. Danielle was also a contributor in John Cater's third edition of Mastering the Trade and has been seen on Real Vision TV and Traders Nation. Her trading mentors, Carolyn Boroden, John Cater, and Henry Gambell, have been instrumental towards her trading journey, especially in regards to the strategies she develops and teaches in a live trading chat room dubbed Trading It Simpler. So it's nice to have you on board, Danielle. Welcome, and it's nice talking to you.
Oh, thank you so much. It's nice talking to you as well.
Yeah, so maybe you can just start lightly by telling us what prompted your interest into trading and how you navigated your way into becoming a full-time trader.
So initially, my interest in trading started because I was looking for a way to work from home and take care of my newborn son. I was a teacher at the time, and I wasn't making enough money to support my son and I on my own. And my father has been a trader for over 30 years. And so he suggested that I begin learning from John Carter and Carolyn Boroden how to trade, and that is where it all began.
So your dad hooked you up with your current mentors?
Yes, in a way. I mean, he did not know them personally at the time. He was just learning from them online as a member in the live trading chat room, and he was taking classes and participating in the chat room. And so he asked if I wanted to take a class with him. And after the first class, I was hooked.
So like what really got you interested? So many people start classes, but not everyone, becomes a full-time trader. So what was that turning point for you?
The turning point for me actually was when I was working a couple different part-time jobs to take care of my son, of course. And then I ended up making more money trading over the course of a few days than what I made throughout the entire month working the part-time jobs that I was making. And so it was at that point that I decided that I wanted to focus on it on a daily basis.
Okay. And so far it has been good to you. I mean, obviously.
Yes, I love trading. It's a very challenging profession. I mean, unlike a job where you're getting paid the same amount every single day, you never really know what the market is going to bring you that day. But at the same time, that's why there's so much opportunity available to you, because there's really no limit as to what you can learn and what you can do.
Mm-hmm. So why options for you? I mean, why did you choose to narrow down to options trading?
The reason why I chose options, honestly, it was just because that was what my dad was focusing on at the time. He had found John Carter over the internet, and John has a very charismatic way of teaching, and he's very inspirational. And so I wanted to learn from him, but also it's because options are a very leveraged product, and you're able to trade options with much smaller amounts of money than you can if you're trading stock, for example. So with, just $5,000-$10,000, you're able to trade effectively with options.
Okay, and is that like the mentor John Cater, the one that you contributed in his book, was your contribution based on the lessons that you got during and after the lessons, or how did that come about?
I'm sorry, what was that?
You contributed to John Cater's third edition of Mastering the Trade.
Uh-huh.
Was that based on your experience after taking his lessons and your experience with the markets, or how did that come about?
Oh, of course. So after I had been learning from John online throughout the classes and the trading room, I went with my father to a live trading event in Las Vegas in 2015, which is where I met John in person. And at that time, I told him that he completely changed my life, because before that, I was working as a waitress and a photographer trying to take care of my son. And now I have a whole new career where I can work from home and my son's right here. And so that was completely life changing to me. And at that point, when I met him, he was asking me about different aspects of trading, what I found difficult, what was easy for me. And because I used to be a teacher, he wanted to focus on asking me questions that would help beginners. And at that time, he didn't have a lot of resources dedicated to beginners on his website. So he asked me if I could focus on creating some content for beginners. And when I did that, he liked it. And so that was how I ended up working for him. And then as far as my chapter in the book, there's two chapters. The first chapter really is about that whole journey, and it's about how I started out as a trader, what was hard for me, how I finally figured it out. And then the second chapter is primarily based on my trading strategy.
Okay, so you can get into details now about your strategy a little bit, and then you maybe tell us where your edge lies within your strategy and what you normally teach in your live chat room.
Primarily within my strategy, I focus on following the trend. So I'm a technical based trader. I also use a lot of Fibonacci analysis, which comes from Carolyn Boroden. And within that, I really like to focus on buying the dip, the trend, strong stocks. This is what I call my 5-star setup. It's just a technically based pattern. And then I also will focus on pullbacks and reversals as well as a part of this strategy.
So how do you like identify, what points to like buy or, sell in your trading?
So I use a confluence of the moving averages on a daily chart. So I typically trade on a swing trading time frame. I hold my options trades anywhere between about 2 days and 3 weeks or so. So for that, I use a daily chart, and I like to use the moving averages, the 8, the 21, and the 34 exponential moving average, 50, and 200 simple. And then what I do is I align areas of support and resistance with the moving averages combined with Fibonacci analysis. And I also like to look at key psychological values such as the S&P hitting 2850. But by using a confluence of this data, I like to look for conservative pullbacks in the marketplace, especially using symmetry with Fibonacci analysis. You can determine what a normal pullback is for a specific stock and use that as a high probability entry method.
And I also, from your bio, I read that you also do stocks and indices, and the importance for identifying high probability, setups and moments. Can you just explain more on that for someone who's relatively new into trading?
So I like to compare stock charts to little children because, when you have, I don't know if you have children or, any of your family members, but, there's always kids who behave very well, right? If their parents take them out to dinner, they know they're going to be good. They're not going to throw macaroni across the table for the most part. They're going to sit there and they're going to behave and they're going to be pleasant, right? But then you also surely know of some children who are very hyperactive and you have no idea what they're going to do. Maybe that day they'll be great, or maybe that's the day that they're going to choose to get up and run around the restaurant and start screaming. So when I'm looking for a stock chart that I would like to trade, I want to look for that nice and easy chart that behaves most of the time. That is how you find high probability directional bets. And so when you have a stock chart that's already trading in a nice, simple fashion in a 5-star pattern, it's much easier and higher probability than to trade a stock chart that's very spastic and moves up and down seemingly without reason.
Okay, and so for that reason, do you like, follow the primary trend in trying to identify those setups, or do you break down your execution to secondary trends as well?
Yes. So my execution is based on the primary trend on the daily chart, and then what I do is I go down to a lower time frame, such as a 30-minute chart, so that I can find an ideal entry point. But the overall trade is based on the larger time frame on the daily chart.
Okay, that kind of marries with what many technical analysts I have interviewed do. So when it comes to options, what would you say is presents the most liquidity for retail traders? And maybe you can give us an example of a trade that you've been in this last quarter.
So the most liquidity is typically going to come from your names that everyone knows and loves. These are called I put them on my list called my grandma loves it list. And these are companies like Amazon, Netflix, Home Depot, Nike, PayPal. These are the large market cap stocks that are heavily traded in the options market, and those are the ones that are going to provide you the best liquidity because those are the most heavily traded. They're also high beta stocks, so when they move, the options are going to move quite a bit. Amazon, out of those stocks, is my favorite one to trade. So I particularly like trading Amazon with butterflies. And what I do is I will trade it as it moves to the upside, upwards off of my technical setup and into my technical levels. And then I can also trade it back to the downside as well because there's a lot of liquidity in the options.
So do you find yourself mostly trading the same things over time, or do you also change that with time?
Yes, I do trade a lot of the same stocks over and over and over again. For example, Amazon, I will have frequent trades on Amazon, Microsoft as well, Nike, Starbucks. These are some of my favorite names to trade. But I will also come across new companies that I like to trade depending on their technical setup. If it looks like they're in consolidation and they want to break out, at that point, I'll trade something that I haven't previously traded.
Okay. And from your bio, I was going through your bio today morning, and there's this part that you say that I particularly specialize in identifying money flow between sector ETFs in order to find my direction. So is that what you're trying to explain by saying that you focus on the big names in the stocks? Is that the same thing?
Yes, it is, but more than that, what I like to do is I like to look at the various sectors, for example, technology, consumer discretionary, energy, financials, and typically what you'll see in the market is you'll see maybe three different sectors, 3 or 4 sectors that are particularly strong. So over the course of the past few months, it's been an interesting situation because the market really has rallied as a whole, carrying most sectors carrying it higher. But within that, the strongest ones have been the communication sector, which includes stocks like Google, Facebook, and Netflix. And then also the consumer discretionary sector, which includes Amazon, Home Depot, Nike, Starbucks. And so what I do is I focus on the strongest one at the time, and that's where I concentrate most of my trades. And then what you'll see is, it doesn't just go straight up. So I will trade that move as it moves to the upside, and then as it starts to run out of energy, that's when I'll take my money out and put it into a different sector that's starting to move at that time.
Okay, and so talk to us a little bit more about your conservative trading.
Sorry, what?
Conservative trading.
So I consider myself a conservative trader primarily because I like to buy pullbacks. By focusing on a stock after it has pulled back on a dip, then you're able to get a conservative entry versus buying something that is already up because it was in the news or, for whatever reason.
And has that helped you maybe monitor the way you do your trading? Like, has that helped you in your trading journey over time?
Focusing on conservative entries has absolutely helped me on my trading journey, because the thing is when you have a conservative entry, your stop loss is much smaller. And so when you're wrong, it enables you to take less of a hit, which over time greatly improves your profit to loss ratio.
All right. And, we've covered most of the technical bit of your trading so far, but, as we know, trading is not just about the strategy behind the trading. There's a lot also that comes with trading. So for your case, what can you say is the skills that you have learned on a personal basis, or the soft skills that you have acquired over time that have enabled you to, be good at your trading journey so far?
Well, you really have to learn how to roll with the punches, both in the market and in life. And, trading is not a career in which you're going to make the same amount of money every day. And especially, you're going to have days where you wake up and for whatever reason, you're getting your teeth kicked in by the market. Maybe there was a news announcement overnight. But there are going to be times where nothing is going your way. And so you have to be able to be calm, learn how to deal with it, and move on and learn how to improve your strategy in the future.
All right. So for your case, what do you normally do when those times when you're not able to identify those high probability setups? What keeps you grounded to still be patient and not jump into a position like most beginning traders would do?
The main thing that keeps me focused is teaching, honestly, because I'm running a trading room and I'm always explaining to our members why I'm doing what I'm doing, where I have gone right and where I have gone wrong. So the primary motivation for me is, I know that if I just get into trades that don't have a high probability setup, I'm going to have to explain it to 1,000+ people, and it's just not worth it. And it's also part of learning how to trade is learning how to be patient. And so, in the beginning, I would take trades if I was bored or if I thought the setup was all right, but not great. And you have to look at your work and you have to see, okay, well, what if I didn't take any of these trades that weren't that great, then what would I have ended up with at the end of the year? And that was how I ended up creating the 5-star setup. The 5-star setup is about looking for the highest amount of confluence and only taking the best setups out there. And so by doing that, it has greatly improved my trading success.
And okay, when it comes to teaching, do you find that you learn a little bit more about yourself from your students when you teach, or do you learn more from the students as you teach? I'm just curious.
I would say that it's definitely a two-way street. I learn a lot about myself. It improves me as a trader tenfold, but I also learn so much from our members as well. We have a very strong collaborative community. And when there's more than two eyes on something, it's a lot of times easier to find. And so I will find that our members find great trade ideas and have really solid points, because at the end of the day, like, I can't know everything. And, you never want to be the smartest person in the room. You always want to be continually learning from others. And I feel like that is what I do every day.
Okay, and so why is it important for you to teach? You're the face of the foundation at Simpler Trading, and your goal is to impart the knowledge that you have on others. How is that important to you?
Well, I got into this profession to begin with because I used to be an elementary school teacher, and I absolutely love teaching, sharing my knowledge, and waking up and doing this every day. So I would say it's a very critical part of who I am, and my overall success is being able to work with traders and get them to the place that I'm at now.
All right. I believe that you're doing a good job, because most traders find that they cannot double up as teachers and trade at the same time. But you go the extra mile, and I mean that's very commendable. So, as we wind up, what would you advise traders based on your experience? What would you tell beginning traders to look out for when they want to start trading options?
Well, the most important thing to do is to get a solid education on what you're doing, because you're going to waste a lot of time and money if you don't really take it seriously. Options are an incredibly leveraged product, and they can be very complex, but if you start off on the right foot by getting that education, it will greatly improve your learning curve, and it will take a lot of the frustration out. So that's always what I recommend to folks, is to really put that effort forth with your education, because it's just like any other career. I mean, you cannot start on day one and just be amazing. You have to be willing to put in the time and the effort if you truly want to be successful.
Okay. And finally, where can people go to find your work, and things that you share, with your students, if that's available in public?
Yes, of course. So you can find my work at my free e-letter. It's www.5startrader.com, FIVE. That's where you can find written market analysis a couple different times per week. And like I said, this is a free service. And then beyond that, we have a trading room for our members at simplertrading.com, simplertrading.com. And for those interested in signing up, you can find me in the trading room about 5 days per week, posting my trades, doing market analysis, and such.
Thanks talking to you, and have a good day.
Oh, great. Thank you. Do you use Twitter?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter as well, and on YouTube. I'm going to have this on YouTube before posting it on the website.
Okay, great. Yeah, you can post. You can tag me on Twitter if you'd like. My handle's at Trader Danielle.
Okay. At Trader Danielle. And I think I'll ask Pam for your photo to attach to the audio later on.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Cheers.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.